morning, everyone. Welcome to today's campfire. Today, as usual, we have Tristan with us to show us the latest um, bug fixes, and what else he's been working on. And there's also some questions from some of the community members in Discord. So we'll go through those. And of course, as usual, if anyone here has any questions, feel free to ask away. Ask either just by jumping in and asking, or by dropping a message in Discord or the Zoom chat. I'll be monitoring both. All right, with that, Tristan, go ahead and take it away.
Maybe we do it a little bit differently this week, and we start with the questions, and then we move on to the improvements and
I like it.
the other stuff, the bug fixes.
I like it. Mix it up. Keep everyone on their toes. All right, so yeah, should I just go ahead and go through them one at a time with you?
Yeah, I think that's great. Unless anybody here in the room has a question we want to address first.
Going once, going twice. Okay, doke. All right.
So no more question from you guys. No.
They know everything there is to know about NoCode-X, right? We're all set. All right. So the first question was from Taddy Rat in Discord. I love these names.
Taddy Rat.
Taddy
Yes.
Rat. Says, I guess, topics, the future, the roadmap, and UI. And I asked him to elaborate a little bit on UI. I haven't seen anything. Oh yeah. Can you make it more user-friendly? Sorry, it's down below. Can you make the UI more user-friendly? So future, roadmap, and a more friendly UI. Those are his questions.
Yeah, those are great questions. Is Taddy Rat in the room by any chance? Because I don't know all. I can link some of you to the names in Discord. But if Taddy Rat is in the room, please speak up or not. That doesn't really matter. So I guess not. So what is the future of NoCode-X? Well, the future of NoCode-X is so we are moving to so we're doing several things at once. One thing is we are moving from a platform that is that has some flaws and some issues to a more robust platform without those flaws and issues. That's the first thing. So we're fixing every week. I'm showing bugs that we fixed, and every week I'm showing you guys improvements that we are fixing. So that's one thing. Another thing is we are uh, doing a lot of work with regards to AI. I'll elaborate on that in a little bit because there's another question with regards to AI in the Discord. And another part is we are making NoCode-X into a tool that should be accessible to anybody. In a sense that we know that it's not accessible to anybody at this point in time. You have to have some kind of technical leverage or some kind of technical knowledge or technical thinking to be able to work with NoCode-X. We are adding layers on layers to make the learning curve lower and lower for everybody to be able to enjoy NoCode-X. Now, with regards to those things, we are actively making changes in the platform. So I mentioned AI. I've shown Rocket Mode several times. Now, with regards to the question that I've read here, can we expect NoCode-X to become more like lovable? We are not lovable, and we will never be lovable. However, I don't also believe, because the belief within lovable is an AI can generate any app and you just need AI to generate the application. I don't believe that. That will never happen. At least the application will not be generated exactly like you imagined it. But I do believe that AI can give you a boost, can give you a head start in generating an application, and then you go down and tweak some stuff in the application itself to make it your own. So what NoCode-X will become like in the future is some kind of hybrid between an AI application generator and a no-code platform where you move between both of them and you use both of them in intermingled. I think that is that even a word?
Yes.
Intermingled? Yeah, yeah. So you use both of them intertwined for to use another word. But so that's I think that's where I know that that's what where we want to head. What we also want to do in the future is, as I mentioned, we want to become a platform that is robust, that you can create your application on, and you don't have to worry about anything breaking in production when your application is in production. Now we've already protected applications up until a certain amount of time. Now you guys seen the campfires on NoCode-X, and for those that didn't see the campfires on NoCode-X, we've posted them in the general chat a couple of messages ago. But just to give you a little bit of a summary, NoCode-X is at the moment what we're doing with NoCode-X is we have this no-code layer and this AI layer, and they generate an abstraction of an application. And then we interpret that abstraction to be able to serve your application in any of the environments. Now, we want to move away from that, not entirely. We think this abstraction is still of a huge value because this abstraction allows us to give you a graphical interface which you can use to tweak the application to your own needs. But we want to move away to that from that in a sense that from the abstraction we want to generate a code base, and this code base can then be ran on any server, well, any server that runs this code base. It can be ran on NoCode-X or or your own servers, for example. So that's what NoCode-X is. And why do we want to do that? Well, simply because once your code has been generated, there is not a single thing in NoCode-X that will change anything that has been generated in that code. So which actually means if your application is generated and it runs perfectly, your application will run perfectly even if we do 100, 1000 upgrades to NoCode-X. And so that's one of the reasons that we want to do it. Another reason that we want to do it is that it delivers us a whole lot of more freedom with regards to whatever we want to do with applications. For example, we can make use of great libraries such as Tailwind or for example, a library to do authentication and stuff like that. We can make the applications that we create much more leaner than they are today. So there are a lot of possibilities that suddenly open up once we go from this abstraction to a code layer. But we don't want to take the no code visual layer away. So we want to remain starting from that abstraction, if that makes sense. If this is not 100% clear, there is a really elaborate explanation on NoCode-X in the link that we've set in the general chat. I think Tati Rat, if you're listening, well, probably not listening. I hope I answered that question. If anybody thinks that I didn't answer that question thoroughly enough, please speak up or please ask a subsequent question. So yeah.
Yeah, just to add to that, Morris continued their question about Lovable. I don't know if you saw it when I asked, what was it they liked about Lovable, and they said more like a conversational thing with the AI instead of a step-by-step process.
Yeah.
Also, an AI that has access to everything instead of just pages.
Yeah. So Rocket Mode at the moment it starts from pages. That is correct. So it creates a root page. It creates several pages that it thinks is needed in your application, and then it creates the logic that it thinks these pages need. Now that last step is hidden from the user at the moment, And it is also true that rocket mode is like a step-by-step process, and once the process is done, it is done. It's not like where you go to a conversation within AI to create your application. However, we have been working on what we call the vibe mode, where you actually go to this conversation with this AI. So the idea is in our head is every time. So you start with rocket mode. You explain to rocket mode what kind of application that you want to build. You're being guided throughout all the steps that we've created, and once you finished all those steps, you drop into vibe mode, which actually will support the back and forth with the AI. So you can start asking questions, change that little word, or change the corners on this button, and so on and so on. So you can do that. You will be able to do that in the future. Now, with that sense, we will look a little bit like Lovable. The only thing is that we will never pretend that applications can be generated perfectly by using AI. We will always support the no-code layer that should be the layer that you dive into once you want to do things that you want to really specifically create your own, create like you had it in mind. Voila. So I think I hope that answers that questions. And of course, yeah, the AI that we are generating will not, or that we are creating, is not limited to only pages. At the moment, we create these pages, and these are the main things that we are creating, and behind those pages is logic. But the idea is that we will really create automated jobs, APIs, and so on as well. So not only pages.
Great. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Teddy Rat, and thank you, Morris, for your questions. One more from Milena. I think I pronounced that right. Is it possible to see how many AI credits are to be used in an LLM request action or for a complete action flow? And then she says in parentheses, to get a grasp on AI token usage.
Yeah, and well, it is possible to see when you are using AI to generate things in NoCodeX. So you have a counter on AI credits. Um, we have logging on the calls towards LLMs in the application log, so you'll be able to view that. There isn't at the moment. There is not a way of having like a report of everything that you've generated this month, for example. But that is something that we have everything in place to build, and that could be placed on the roadmap. So no problem. I think that will become very important to track your AI usage, and to track well, just to explain to everybody, in my mind, there are two ways of using AI in NoCodeX. First of all, the way you use AI to generate some stuff for your application. And the second thing is you use AI within your application. So, for example, if you want to create a chatbot that uses an LLM, then you can also use AI to actually make that chatbot functional. And both should be trackable. The one within your application is now trackable within logs. The one by generating stuff for your application is trackable through the counter, but we don't have a report for either one of them. So that could be something that we build. So you can like take a monthly report, for example.
Okay. All right. Okay, I think that was the last question in there.
No, I think Eddie had another question.
Let's see. don't see it.
Well,
Eddie,
I see it. So you want me to read it?
please.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry. No, I'll read it.
What's
I'll do my job.
okay,
What's the
go
best
ahead, go
way
ahead,
to
go ahead.
precisely what's the best way to precisely place elements on pages with many existing components? I'm experiencing jittery behavior that makes it difficult to position elements accurately.
Okay, awesome. Good. That's a very good question because we've seen this as well with applications that we are creating. We often, when you have many elements in a tight space, which is probably something that you will have over time, there is quite a difficulty to move elements from one place to another. So what we've added in the past already, and we will keep improving it, is a way to sort the elements without using the user interface or the visual what you see is what you get editor. I'll just share my screen and show it to you guys. Share like this. So you guys are seeing my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes. So let's just say you have an or maybe even a horizontal list that you drag and drop on page, and then you have like an icon which you have it on page as well, and maybe a title. Voila. So you drag it in here. Now what we have here is these things right here, which you can use to drag and reorder the elements in this list. So this makes it a bit easier for you to do that. Now I have to tell you, this works within the horizontal list. You cannot drag it out of there. You cannot drag it in another component. This is something that is still on the roadmap. We still have to do, but this was a quick win. So we did it like this. Now another thing that we've done, and this is released since I think yesterday, is whenever you hover while dragging over a vertical or horizontal list, you now have the horizontal list and the vertical list growing a little bit. So that should make it easier for you to drop it into place wherever you want it to be. And we've also fixed some of the bugs that we encountered during dragging and dropping. So it should be a little bit easier for you from now on to drop these things by using the what you see is what you get editor right here. Now, I have to be completely clear on this. This is something. Well, you will always have like some case that is a little bit difficult to put into place. Huh? That is something that comes along with a graphical user interface that allows you to place elements on the page. Now, that being said, we are doing our best to make it as easy as possible, and we will also cover this throughout within the navigator that you can move freely from one vertical list to another horizontal list and so on and so on. So that should cover all use cases together with the visual editor and the navigator. Is that a bit clear?
Yeah, I think so. Could you try just on the screen here, drag that currently highlighted title to the far right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's. I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's just do it like this, then.
Okay.
So you can actually see it, and let's make this one a little bit bigger as well. So voila, and then let's drag this one to there. Yeah, now I dragged it outside. So see, these are the kind of things that you can be experiencing. But well, this is already, I think, a little bit better than what it
Okay.
was.
Definitely. Yep. All right. Yeah, just because that's the type of things I think that yeah that I experience every now and then. I think that Eddie's also talking about.
Yeah, I think everybody experiences that because at some point in time You'll have, if you want to, for example, create your own custom button, you will have like a horizontal list with some styling on it, and then you would have like a small icon in there, and maybe a title, and maybe another icon. So those are really elements, a couple of elements really packed together in a small space. So by that's why we actually scaled up the vertical slash horizontal list while you were dragging over it, because it becomes a little bit bigger, so you can drag it correctly into place. So,
Yeah,
but if there are any other suggestions for making this easier, please, we're all ears. We love to hear from you guys what you experience maybe in other platforms where you say, okay, this works good for me. Please, we're all ears.
well, at the risk of sounding like a boomer, I've I used to use keyboard commands a lot, and I can't remember what there was some app I used, and you were able to place things using keyboard commands. And
Okay.
so I'm wondering if that would be a little bit easier, like if you could hold down the control and right key to move this over one item or something like that.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely. If we like, we could like move this by using the right key and the left key, for
yeah,
example,
yeah.
and so on. So yeah. Those suggestions are very, very welcome. So I'll put this one into our ticket tracking system as soon as this campfire is over.
Okay. All right. Yeah, let's talk about that. I have a few more ideas around that. Lloyd's asking, are we close to an undo button at all?
Yeah. So we are close. In a sense that undo is something, uh, it might seem trivial, but it is not that easy to implement. So the reason why I say it, you have to think about it this way. Every single action that a user can do on NoCode-X has to be kept in some kind of log, and then we have to be able to revert every single action. So what we did is we started keeping this log already, and we will be able to, in real short notice, in a couple of releases, we will be able to at least give you an undo on the template editor, because we think that's the place where the undo is necessary the most. The other things can follow later, but I think on the template editor we will be able to give you an undo really soon.
All right. All right.
But
We
I
got
but, but I have to say I cannot commit on like next week or the week after that. But we'll try our hardest to give it to you as soon as possible.
awesome. Okay. Thanks, Lloyd. And then Eddie has a follow-up question. Is there a way to make an element stay put once it's somewhere that I want it, so it wouldn't be affected by bringing another element? So kind of like locking an element in place. So
Yeah, we don't have that functionality, but I'm willing to think about how that would work in no codex, and I can see some benefits from it, especially with regards to like inherited elements. So I'm more than happy to think about how we can implement some kind of locking system in NoCodex. Are you Eddie? Just to be 100% clear, are you referring to like locking up an entire list, or one item within a list? Because if you lock up one item within a list, but this kind of, you would be able to like still put some items in front of it and behind of it, because behind or in front is actually the same for that one item that isn't affected, if that makes any sense, what I'm saying right now. So yeah, Eddie.
Yeah, I think I was talking about just locking an individual element. I was just trying to figure out ways to get around that jitteriness, I guess.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if I worked on one element or one vertical list, like once I'm finished working on that and I know where I want that one, I could kind of lock that in that position. And if I brought
Okay.
something else in the overall vertical list, then it wouldn't affect that individual one. But
Yeah. I cannot think about a way to solve it right now, but I promise I will think about ways to help with that. Yeah, yeah.
no worries. Yeah, thank you. Also, I had a quick question. In the style tab, what does it mean where it says position is fixed? It gives you that button at the bottom there. Position is fixed.
That's
What
that's a
does that
good
mean?
question. Let me show you. Let me show you. So, for example, if you have, well, I'll try and show you with this screen. So, if you have like let's just say you're building a page, and this page has a big chunk of text on it, for example, or something else for that matter. It doesn't really matter if it's a big chunk of text or anything. But what does matter is it creates a scroll bar to the right of your page. So you have to scroll to reach the bottom of the page, right? So that's pretty common in applications. So in this case, right here, you scroll, but you want something, a certain element on your page to follow while you scroll. Huh? So, for
Okay.
example, I want these things here. You can say position is fixed, and once you scroll, now it doesn't work in the template editor, but if you use it in well, I hope. I'll have to bust the cache again. Let me just bust the cache here. So voila. And now it scrolls along, as you can see. So I'm scrolling, but the element stays into place. So this is perfect for like creating navigation bars, or maybe like a pop-up that allows you to open up a chat window, something like that. So you can create all kinds of things here. Is that clear?
Yeah, got you. Thank you for explaining.
All right.
Anyone else have a question related to, all right, question period? I have a question not related to any of these. It might be a quick one, but you can do this later or another time if you want, Tristan. But in actions, there, you know, the subflow function. I've never fully understood how to use that, how to take advantage of that. I understand the purpose of it, but not how to use it.
Yeah, I think we should review this subflow um, um, action, because it really, well, it is like something more of a dummy thing, if you understand what I mean. So what you can do is you can add a subflow here. You can give it a name,
Okay.
and that'll tell you this part of my action does this thing, if you
Okay.
understand, Steve. So it's really, it doesn't execute anything, but it just allows you to create your action in a graphical way that is that or some parts of your action can be put more in a coherent, if you understand what I mean. So for example, you have an action that does three things. It reads some stuff from the database, it processes stuff, and it writes something to the database. You would be able to add like three subflows: read from database, write from database, and then by just following whatever the subflow leads to, you would know, okay, this part of my action writes to the database, this part of my action processes the data, and so on.
Is this like commenting your code?
Yeah, it's very close to that. The only the yeah, it's very close to that. The only thing is that you aren't with comments. You could put it everywhere in your code, and with a subflow, it's like putting one coherent part of your action together and making sure that you understand quickly what that part does.
Okay. Okay. I thought this was a container somehow, and I was wondering how you add actions to
Yeah,
it.
well,
Function.
when we created this years ago, the idea was always that Subflow at some point in time would be able to collapse and would be able to what's the opposite of collapse?
Expand.
Expand. Yeah, so you would be able to like hide whatever is in the subflow, and we still want to do that, but maybe we want to do that by using different actions. But yeah, that's the general idea.
If you do add that collapse and expand functionality, I think the next thing you can do is it'll make your, or you can also make the for each action or function easier as well, because that for each function could call a subflow basically, as opposed to
Exactly. That was the idea. That was the idea. Exactly.
awesome. Okay. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Okay. We're at
All
10:34.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Before we
Tristan.
start, I want to thank everybody for their questions. They really help us. Please keep them coming every campfire. You're helping us improve this platform. So yeah. That being said, let's move on to what have we been doing this week. So last week I think I've shown you 19 improvement, the week before 17. Now I can show you 16. So we're moving at a good rate. Um, no fear, we're not slowing down because there's one less than previous weeks. But let's go through them. Let's go through them because there are a couple of, in my mind, huge things that I can show you. So yeah, first of all, type indicator added to parameter creation. You know that we've added this thing earlier. Like if you create a data schema like this, and you add a property and you give it a type, for example, text, you see an indicator here that it is text, that is a text field. Uh, just, I'm just gonna do this, Steve, and then I'll let you ask your question. Now we also added the same coloring and the same scheme right here. So these two match with each other. So that's a visual enhancement to the UI, and this is all with regards to what we're doing this to make your life within NoCode-X easier. Again, maybe an answer to Tatirat's question: can you make the user interface more user friendly? These are the things that we are doing, and we're doing much more than that. But you'll see in other things that I'm going to show you. Steve, you had a question.
No, the AI picked up my hand on my face as a raised hand, so
Okay.
advanced
Okay.
AI.
That's the reason why we don't think AI will be able to create your application from 0 to 100. But okay. Yeah, we fixed some bugs. One of the bugs that we fixed is the text field. So when you added the text field to your page, you could add like yeah, you could add. Oh, I had to wait. You could add a bit of a margin to your text field, but it didn't pick up on the template editor. So if I now add a margin to this, it's now being correctly shown on the template editor. So these are the kind of things that we are doing every week. Every week, more of these bugs are being fixed to make whatever you're building in the template editor as close as possible to the application that you're building. Voila. So this is one other thing that we've done. Yeah. Uh, Also, a UI improvement or UX improvement. There are now other icons for reusable components than there are for pages. So this is a reusable component. It shows up as a little block here, and it is yellow as well. So you are able to distinguish reusable components from pages in the folder overview. We've done the same thing with the home page. So let me set a home page for this application. So I'm gonna set a named template right here, and now now we should see like this home icon popping up, so you can immediately see that this page is your home page of your application. And we'll be doing more of these things to make it easier and easier for you to recognize things in NoCode-X. Another thing that we've done is, and this was actually part of a previous release, but we didn't really mention it before. But there is now in NoCode-X, there is on request. Oh, I'm sorry. On request, there is a function that allows you to generate a QR code. So all you have to do is pass a little bit of text to this function, and then choose an image element which you want to use and which you want to show the QR code, and this QR code will be shown in that image, and it can be like text or an URL, which will then lead to the actual page, of course. Voila, you can do some advanced settings as well here, like for example, add a border, add a light color, dark color, and some things like the version range and the version range max. If you know all about QR codes, you'll probably know what this is. I mostly use the default things. So a QR code will now be generated once I bust the cache here and I open up this page here. So voila, this QR code takes me to google.com, for example. So we've added that to NoCode-X as well. Yeah, so we've a while ago we added Tailwind and Animatopy. Tailwind, for those not knowing, Tailwind is well, you could call it like a CSS library with all kinds of classes that you can use to style the elements on your applications. So we've added this to NoCode-X, so you can use Tailwind. With every single UI element that is on your page. It wasn't working on particular pages. So for example, if you used the embed functionality, this wasn't working, and on login pages and registration pages, it wasn't working as well. We fixed that issue. So now it's working on every single page that you are using NoCode-X for. We've also added Animatopy. Animatopy is, give or take, it's a little bit smaller than Tailwind, but it adds a lot of like cool animations that you can use in your application. So if you want to animate something, you can use those classes, just add animated heartbeat, and they will now work on every page, but also on login page and pages that you embed into other applications. So that's another thing that we've done. Steve, do you have a question? I heard you. No?
No question.
Okay. All right. So what have we also done is in drop-down field, you could not use. So you can of course set choices, and you can do that. You can do that dynamically as well by using actions and stuff like that. But you could not use placeholders. So now you can use placeholders in choices. So if you have, like, for example, choice 1 and you want this translated and you want to get some, like, for example, translation from the database, then you can use a placeholder in this choice to make sure it is replaced. So it's not replaced on the template editor, but it is replaced on the actual application. So what's next? Placeholders. Yeah, so this is a big one. We've enhanced, and enhanced is a really too small word for what we've done here, but we've enhanced the placeholder system with what is called liquid templating. And liquid templating is something that is used on GitHub pages, on Shopify, if I'm not mistaken. It's a way of using these placeholders. Let me just get the docs here. That will be much more easier to explain. So if I open up user interface and template placeholders. We had these things that allows you, by using the pipe character here, that allowed you to format, for example, a date in a certain format, or format it in a date time format, or even show up a JSON and so on. These still work. That is that we've been backwards compatible in that regard. We also had like a pipe to set a fallback value for if a placeholder could not be replaced by an actual value because the actual value wasn't there. You had like this type default, but we've elaborated on that quite a bit, and we've added everything that is in a library that's called Liquid.js. And if I open up the documentation of Liquid.js, you now have a ton of these filters. So if you use these pipe characters, this is a filter. You now have really a ton of these to use within placeholders. So for example, if you want to absolute value of something, you can use ABS. If you want to round up to the ceiling of a number, you can use ceil. If you want to concatenate a list of items, you can use concat, and so on. There is really a lot of these things for you to use, and this, for example, there's even something in here that allows you to find a certain element in a list and only visualize that element in a list. What is also important, that now you can actually grab a certain element of a list. This is not a find, but just if you know the index of this element, you can just grab it by using, I think there's an example in here. Let me check if this was written down. Well, probably not. I'll have to add this, but to give you an example, you could do something like this. So I drag a title in here, and I want to edit this title, and then so I have a list of people, and I know the first one is the one that I want to show. So I can do something like this. So this will work from now on. This was also requested by one of the community members. So this can be used from now on as well. Together with all these things, these filters right here, and together with tags. And these tags are something like you can have like an if then else logic within the titles and the texts that you put on your pages. You can have like a for loop on the text that you put in your pages. Yeah, there are a lot of things for you to use. Please read the documentation, and for everything that is not explained in the documentation of NoCode-X, please use the documentation of Liquid.js, which we refer to in our documentation. I've just put the link in the general chat, so for all the people that want to have a look, because I think this is a really big upgrade, in a sense that it opens up so much more possibilities than what you had before.
This looks incredibly powerful. Do you mind running just like the concat function, just so we can see it? You know, I'm a visual.
Yeah, I'll have to look up. I don't know the syntax, so I'll have to look it up. But that's fine. Let me just check.
Liquid, in the Liquid documentation, I saw it.
Okay, in the Liquid documentation.
Scroll up.
So
Yeah,
concat.
right.
So yeah. So I think if we do, because this is a filter, right? So if we concat
arrays.
fruits
Sorry.
with
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Sorry, I thought it was simpler. I see it says it joins arrays. I thought it just joined like text, like first name and last name or something. But yeah, just something simple. I just want to see something simple.
Something simple, but something simple, Steve.
Capitalize? How about capitalize?
Capitalize. Okay, that is indeed simple, but I have to find it, or I can just type it Yeah, I'll just guess. So let's just do name and then
I.
capitalize. So
No, CAPI.
CAPI
Yep. Mhm.
like this, capitalize.
Yep.
And then we have to, of course, add a placeholder. So add global variable. And then, of course, I'll have to put it into small or so lowercase characters. And we've named it name like this. And then if I load up the page, it was on the home page, right, that I did it?
I didn't see.
Yeah, it's here. So I'll might have to bust the cache
Okay.
again here. So again, for the people that weren't here last time, the reason that I have to bust this cache is because I'm showing you this on our development environment, so not on the production. So we have this thing that we have to do with the cache. But as you can see, it's capitalized right
Nice.
here. So and there are please feel free to explore and try out all of them if you really want. I think there are really cool things that you can do with this.
Wow. Yeah, this looks very powerful.
Yes, it is. Okay, are there any questions with regards to this one? No?
Nothing
But
for
if you don't have questions right now and you think of a question later, that's not a problem, of course. Huh? But let's move on for now, because I have another um, uh, very powerful thing to show you. But first, let's show you some more bug fixes. So, for example, um, it used to be that way that a vertical list and a horizontal list would not have the opportunity, or you would not have the opportunity to set a margin on hover state for these things. So we added the possibility for you to add a margin. So whenever this is hovered, you'll see this just gets a margin. So voila. So we added this to the possibilities. Something else here. Let me find where I was. Not here. Yeah. So I've also already explained how we've improved the drag and drop experience for vertical and horizontal lists. So by making it bigger, and now one other thing, and I see that it's marked as a bug fix, but it is not a bug fix. It's a new feature, but we now have global variables available in the actions that you use. So how does that work? Very simple, actually. So for example, you have an action that you've created right here, and this sets a global variable. In this case, it's a name. It's simple. You would not be able to earlier. You would not be able to access this from other actions, but now you can. And how do you do that? Well, first of all, you of course you add another action. So I think I'll have to wait. So there's a little bit of a delay on dev with loading templates as well. But now back to the global variables. So you create your action from where you want to access this global variable, and all you have to do is create an a parameter with exactly the same name as your global variable. And when I click this button, I will be able to write out to the log whatever is in this global variable. So you will be able to put values on your global variable and start to reason with them as well. So this is really an enhancement. Before you could only use them in placeholders on your pages. Now you will be able to reason with them in the pages that you build. So let me just quickly bust this cache and let me open up this page and then click the button. Okay, there are two buttons right here, but I'm guessing this one will actually execute global variables thing. And so as you can see, I now have the value Tristan in my log. And this works for a simple value such as a string, but it also works for nested objects, for example, arrays, for example. So you can pass it on to the actions that you use. One thing that I have to mention, and this is being documented as well, is there is there is a level, or there is a priority that we enforce on these global variables versus template parameters. So if there is a template parameter that is passed on, so a value for name that is passed on to this action, then this value is being used. And other in the other case, we search the global variables. So beware if you, like, for example, have and the reason why I tell this is possible if you do something like this. You execute an action from within this action, which has a new parameter called name, and you pass in name Fabrizio, for example. Then this name Fabrizio will be used instead of Tristan. So we use this priority where we take the values of template parameters above the values of global variables. So keep that in mind when working with that. There any questions with this on regards to this? No questions? Okie doke. Then we move on to the next one. Yeah, so we had this bug where drop down and input fields were reset after in an action you would actually also enable the same fields. So you have this function that's called enable button, enable drop down, enable input field. If you set some value to it, if this function is executed by, for example, making a change in the drop down, and coincidentally this function also enables that same drop down where the change was made, then it cleared all the information in the input field or drop down field. So that was a bug. We fixed that bug, and that's not happening anymore. Fabrizio, I see you have your hand raised.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Sorry to interrupt the campfire. I'm just gonna quickly present myself. I'm an end user, and I've been following you guys every time when I have the possibility to check the campfires afterwards, but never been able to join one. So I'm happy I was able to quickly log in. My apologies, Tristan, Steve, and whoever who is busy with NoCode-X, if this matter has already been discussed. But I have a question. I'm actually, as an end user, awaiting a application, quite big solution that one of your people are working on. And I was curious what I've been seeing in development and so forth about the performance. So I have a feeling maybe it's just because it's in the development area that I'm watching that it goes slower. But I was curious, okay, when my product will be finalized, how smooth will it go? How fast will it react on, for example, just clicking a button? I'm talking about users. How does it go? Because for the moment, my personal feeling is rather slow, but it might be because it's purely in development. It's just an honest question.
Okay. So let me answer that, Fabrizio. So first of all, we have these things. So we have this version in development. Then we have this version in test, accept, and production. And so when you move from development to test, accept, and production, what we do is we create a version of your application. We do some optimizations to your application to make it behave faster. So the first answer to your question is your application is always a bit slower in development. Just because we have to be able to show you the state of the application without having to completely recompile it. That's the reason. And so we do compilation step and we do some optimizations when you move to test accept production. Now that being said, it will probably always depend as well on how the application is built. For example, if you load up 100,000 records in your application, that will be a bit slower than loading 20. So you have to take that in account when building your application. That is also one thing that you have to address. And then something that I've mentioned before in this campfire as well, we are working on this thing that we call Code-X, which will allow the application that we build right now, so you don't have to do anything to your applications once Code-X arrives. The application that you build right now will be
Transfer to
converted to
React.
code. Yeah, transferred to React code, for example, which will make the application much more lean, and which will make the application, because now we have to add all the functionalities that you could possibly use in your application, and we will be able to make it much more lean, much more fast, and much more powerful as well. So these are three things that we need to take care of, or we are taking care of at the moment, to elevate the performance of your application. And I know for a fact that the first thing is a factor in your application at the moment, and the second thing is the biggest factor of your application. And we are at the moment also creating a solution to fix that very easy within your particular application, Fabrizio.
For big data
Yes,
imports.
because I mentioned this one specifically because I know you're loading up a huge amount of data, and you are visualizing it in the data table. But the data table at the moment is something that we call front or client side paging, which actually means when you load up the page, you get all the data, and then you handle the paging of that data on the client side. So those calculations are being done in the browser. What we are actually doing right now, but I cannot show it to you now because it's not done. It will probably be done in a couple of days. We are making a function that allows you to easily, but it is possible at the moment, but we want to make it easy, that allows you to easily use server-side paging on the data table. So with the use of one little function, one block, you will have a server-side paging on the data tables on your application. And that means, Fabrizio, that you will now, from that point on, you will get 20 records instead of, I don't know how many there are right now. I think there are more than 50,000 or something like that in your database. So that makes a huge difference.
Okay. Thanks a lot for the feedback, Tristan. I didn't want to cannibalize you guys campfire. Just was
no, but I think it's a good question because
yeah.
because these topics, like for example, the difference between dev, test, and accept, I don't think we have touched them in these campfires yet. So that's a good question. Yeah.
I have commercial people already going on the road selling the story of the solution that's gonna come. So they need to be able to show something sexy and quick, and at the moment it's not possible, but we'll figure out. But thanks a lot for the feedback anyway. Cheers.
Yes. Yo.
Awesome question.
Execute action on custom domains. Yes.
Hey, Tristan, just a heads up. We're at time right now. It's 11:03, my time anyway. So do you want to cover one or two more and then let people go?
I'm gonna cover one more, and then I'll let you guys go, if that's fine. Because I actually have a lot more to cover, but maybe we'll move that to another campfire. Maybe, or maybe we should like do less work every week. No, let's not do that. No, but another thing that we've done is there was an issue. So I've shown you last time execute action with the front end answer that allows you to execute an action that executes an action. And then your front end doesn't wait for that action, but the result of this action arrives when the server is actually done. Does that make sense? So it's actually a really asynchronous process. You use the front end to start a process on the server. It's a long-running process, for example, calling an LLM, but your front end doesn't wait on that answer. It just says, okay, tell me when you're done, and the server gets back to you when it's done. This is perfect for creating, like, for example, chatbots, but also for creating like interactive dashboards that have to update once new data arrives. So think of, for example, a stock graph. So you have like a candle chart, for example, that you want to update in real time. You can use these things called execute action with front end answer, which executes a long running process and then sends the new data constantly to the front end. So you will have an updated chart. So there was a problem. This worked with the normal domains of NoCode-X, but it didn't work with custom domains because of one of the proxies that we had in between that just stopped this way of communicating between server and client. So we fixed that problem, and that is now fixed. So if you have a custom domain, you can now enjoy these real-time execute action with front-end answers functionality, actually. So that was the last thing. I still had some other bug fixes and some new features, but we'll leave that for one of the next campfires.
Cool. All right.
I'm just gonna shut down my my microphone because my kids are walking in the room.
All right. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you next weekend, next week's campfire.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for all your questions, and see you next week. Bye-bye.